Year 4, the Bret Bielema era is upon us in Champaign, bringing back a number of familiar faces, including last year's QB1 through 9 weeks, Luke Altmyer, and Gabe Ackes, the former freshman All-American. Leary has not taken a snap in a game as an Illini quarterback, but they are thrilled, Jay, with his growth this spring.
Yeah, it comes from a family of quarterbacks. His brother Devin Leary played at NC State. No hitting the quarterback either, which is tough for a defense.
Hitting the quarterback. Leary back to pass, zips it out to Corey Rashad, former walk-on, gets out of bounds, and that brings up
Altmyer, 6'2", 205, thick.
Back to pass on 3rd and long. Leary all day to throw, and it goes off the shoulder pads of Ashton Hollins. Live on the punt return here, but Fabrizio Pinton will make the first punt of the afternoon, crosses the 50-yard line, and that is where the next offensive unit will. But Altmyer back now for year 2.
I give Altmyer a lot of credit, right? His ability to say, you know what, I didn't beat John Paddock out when I got back healthy, but I...
No Caden Fagan, who we expect to be at the top of the running back depth chart in the fall, dealing with some rehab of an injury he sustained last season.
Yeah, Caden Fagan got banged up. Josh McCray, as the game gets going on, and he hasn't been able to get those types of carries to get any kind of momentum in a football game.
Altmyer to pass. Goes wide, looking for Malik Ellis. On 2nd and short, Altmyer on the option, slings it out to Wilcher for a first down.
Really like that play. That's basically an option play. So Luke Altmyer's the slant if he wanted as well.
Could see Altmyer as a dual threat this season, so we've been told. Has plenty of room here, and now will scoot up the middle. And they'll blow the play. Point Brook, and remember last year, he was one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the FBS. It's a big reason why they want to see more decisiveness from him at the quarterback position.
So I think if you look at the season, that Penn State game, yeah, you're a little bit younger than me, so maybe you don't know about dial-up, but they made that sound.
Altmyer over the middle, and he does dial it up there for a first down.
But that kind of dial it up is actually what you learn. They're trying to do the play right, line up right, run the route right. When you can let your athletic ability just shine because you got all those basics down, is when you start to really thrive.
Pitch it, McCray cuts it back up and across the 10-yard line.
Zone when everybody knows you're going to run the football, opt to throw here.
Back shoulder, back of the end zone, and deflected out of play.
Grayson Griffin.
Back from the secondary a season ago.
Bringing Wilcher out into the flat and some space over here.
Altmyer goes underneath. The catch is made, fighting for the end zone and stopped short. It was a catch by Kenari Wilcher. Well, now they've changed it, 1st and goal. It goes to McCray, and he will tiptoe into the end zone. A great push from this offensive line that the coaching staff is thrilled about, Jay, through the first 14 practices of spring ball.
And at the offensive tackle position, when you take a look at it, just look at the push. You want to see that drive, that wedge blocking up front. McCray's not really even touched in here until he hits the goal line, but at the key, though, Lash couldn't protect Altmyer, and they couldn't run the ball when they wanted to run the ball. And Barry Lunny talked about it. You can't run the ball when everyone knows you're going to run it. You can't.
Touchdown, though.
We have seen one touchdown.
If you are just joining us, Josh McCray. Here's a pass out to Alexander Katka-Jones, the 2nd-year JUCO transfer, thrown by Donovan Leary. The wide receiver room. With all that they lose, who will emerge? And they love the depth of that room as well, as Aiden Lawfrey is wrapped up.
Guy that can go to on 3rd down, the possession receiver out of the slot. That's still a battle. Wilcher and Beatty are battling out.
Underneath and off the hands of Colin Dixon.
Altmyer seems to throw a more catchable football, which is an underrated aspect of a quarterback's ball.
Fabrizio Pinton, a pretty ball hanging high in the air, is caught at the 30-yard line.
You're going to struggle in college football. And this is what I like right here. So a couple times they've gotten Luke Altmyer out of the pocket. They found Tanner Arkin there on a little bit of a flat route. But when you have a young...
Comfortable, the playbook's opening up for him more here in year 2. Play action, and it's a busted play, and Altmyer will scramble out of trouble and it's blown dead.
About that, we keep going about the process, and it's going fast. It's going faster for him. I mean, slowing down for him. As the game slows down, you're better. Aiden Lawfrey's a fast guy. Pride of Gibson City High School, the Falcons, right?
Here is Declan Dooley, number 2 punter in the class of 2023, in a tight spiral inside the 15-yard line.
Term rivals, so it's going to take some getting used to, but cool to see the Ducks playing the Illini as well.
Donovan Leary on the keeper is tagged. Just some one-hand touch, not even two-hand.
It's probably easier to keep the West and not open it up, because I think you open up to more stronger competition.
Leary opens it up and hits Hank Beatty for a first down. The first big play reception of the spring game.
And he's lucky Dylan Rose. And that monument alone would knock down 10 balls a game, right? Well, not just knock down, he could have had a pick.
Leary going deep for Hollins and deflected in coverage by Jaheim Clark. According to Aaron Henry, the number 2 offense against what we believe to be the number 1 defense, as Jacob Huber will run it forward for a gain of about 5. And what a story he's been. Won a 4A state title at Richmond Burton High School here in the state of Illinois. Leary again, a deep throw, and in coverage. The play is made by T. Strain.
Matthew Bailey and Xavier Scott not being healthy in the defensive backfield this spring, he's got a huge opportunity. Daniel at the inside linebacker position, as you know, Altmaier one-hops that to Pat Bryant on the slant route. I'm excited about Clint Sindom. The off was here. He did that a little bit with Justin Stepp. It's paid off for him in the spring.
And off to Aiden Lawfrey, skips ahead. Lawfrey across the 50, spins out of trouble, and Lawfrey still on his feet inside the 35. What a run by the sophomore. Brings him for 25 yards on the ground, the biggest run of the spring game so far. Fake it to Lawfrey. Deep shot, and it is broken up, intended for Pat Bryant, who has yet to make a catch.
G Love, obviously Chase Brown set records for the Illini 2 years ago.
Lawfrey gets the carry again, this time a toss, stretching it out inside.
He's a guy out of Atwood Hammond High School here that was a phenomenal high school football player locally.
Lawfrey will barrel ahead to move the sticks. The spring game for multiple Big Ten teams. Altmaier looking for Malik Elzy. Deep shot to the end zone. Elzy comes back and makes the grab for a touchdown.
Now that's maturity. First of all, great ball there by Luke Altmaier. A little bit underthrown, and Elzy's able to come back to it. The old wheel route, right?
So our touchdown reception for the sophomore.
Watch the wheel route here. So he's going to, on the wheel route, you fake the out route here, drives vertical, gives a little bit of a head nod, and able to go up and get the football. High points it.
Just sort of olaying C.J. Buffkin in the end zone there to come back and get the ball. And that is 2 touchdown drives led by Luke Altmaier, punctuated by passing time.
Of him a few times there, but I would say this is pretty good weather for him to play in here today, guys.
Hey, Brooke, I'm from the Midwest. 55 on April 20th.
Scott had a pick 6 that just totally flipped the ball game.
Here is Corey Rashad on the ground on first down, and our first look at Kirkland Michal running the offense at the quarterback position, coming over from Blinn Jr. Michal going through his progressions, and now we'll throw it out of play.
Good protection, not a lot of pass rush from his first team defense right there. They drop Seth Coleman into coverage number 9. Daniel Brown, the JUCO transfer, they believe those guys are going to be special on the outside. But man, it's going to be tough in the interior, especially when we get into the meat of that Big Ten schedule.
You have some optional tech rules. You mentioned some of those right there, that they're able to use these tablets. You see the guys working on them. And over to their right, they have the helmet comms. These are 2 things that coach all spring long just to get acclimated and get ready for the upcoming season. So you got Donovan Leary, Dylan Rosiak, and Luke Altmaier. They are wearing them here today. So we asked Coach Lenny, we said, how are they adjusting? He mentioned there's a bit of a learning curve.
Whole time and tell him, hey, hit this. Hit Ashton Hollins. Of course, they can't do that.
Leary back to pass, zips it over the middle and stripped out of the hands of Malik Elzy by Grayson Griffin, who has
for college football to a lot. I've been to high school games where a team will come off of the field and they will sit underneath the tent and watch a big screen TV of the former of the previous series, and that we're not doing it in the Big Ten. They said, hey, come play quarterback in Illinois. Of course, he ends up at a receiver at the end of the day.
good push from the defensive line there, stopping the run. Has gotten almost all of the quote-unquote developmental reps. They are really excited about his future at Illinois.
He's built a little bit different than all of them as Michel takes off here. He's got a more of a mobile start, even more.
Great high school career in Westlake, Texas. He's an option if it gets to that point, as he zips it on an out route, and the catch is made at the sticks.
Stop him, man. Can't stop talent. Cream rises to the top, even in Starkville.
Nothing doing on 4th and short. So that pass to Beatty was level with all the commitments off the field.
Well, and with NIL, some of them get paid like it's a full-time job,
Sure.
right?
Luke Altmaier back out there leading the number.
Drinking water through a paper towel or
Drinking
peanut
water
butter
upside down.
There's lots of old wives' tales about.
Altmaier floats it out to Rusk, who makes the catch but out of bounds.
He's got the triangle, the square, the circle, all of that in his repertoire. It's like in his mind, he's just hitting it. Here he goes again.
Faked it to him, then zipped it to him, and he picks up a first down. Has really taken
back, but possibly as a receiver out of the backfield.
Back to Lawfrey. Shifts back left, carrying the pile with him and dragged down. Well, you talked about it earlier. There is a difference with some of the body
edge.
Fake it to Lawfrey. All day for Altmaier. Back to his running back, who again scampers ahead for a first down.
Some alum. How is it just being able to be back with those guys?
It's always good hanging out with the fellas. Those are my guys, you know. So we just hang out, enjoy each other. She's a softball team. She's in the sorority. She's an AKA, so she's enjoying life. So we're gonna scoot back.
He's keeping an eye out for me, guys, on the sideline. He told me he was going to give me a heads up so I don't get hit down.
He's had some success against them. He's a character as well. Could you tell?
That beating Ohio State 4 times, even years after his playing days, I just love that brings him so much joy.
So much joy, right? So much joy.
And it seemed at that point that there was some real momentum around this program as Altmaier takes a shot over to the middle, and it's Malik Elzy, who has been a big offering in the backfield. To the left, they will fake the pitch. Altmaier on the run, makes the throw, and it's just out of the reach of Colin Dixon.
Yeah, he wants that one back, right? Because that deep shot, then they say, let's run the football right at you, then they move the quarterback out of the pocket. And this is a staple run play as well, where they do a double pull either on a zone play or a counter play.
And Altmaier floats it out to Lawfrey with nobody around him. It's a touchdown for the sophomore.
You know, that reminds me of a funny line that a defensive line coach once told me. He said, that was an MA, a mental error. And I kind of looked at the coach and I said, isn't that a mental error? Nobody guards it, right? An MA, a mental error. He would say, I said, no, that's a missed assignment, coach. But it's a joke that the MA was a mental error itself, right? But when I say mental errors right here, you'll see nobody picks them up, right, at all. Now, you see the safety get picked off. Number 21 here gets picked off, but no one's out in the flat. Easy pitch and catch.
18-yard touchdown reception for Lawfrey, who's already busted at 20.
I think that's huge, the transfer portal era, right? You're coming from a totally new background, not with your typical recruiting class. He was with the Ole Miss recruiting class. He comes in, and then they come in and, you know, you kind of...
14 spring practices. Takes a deep shot. Leary down the left side, and a diving catch is made inside the 35-yard line.
Yeah, Kapka Jones, Alex Kapka Jones, a guy that has been battling, certainly not one of the guys that we said, okay, we think this guy will make a bunch of plays next year, but wow, look at the effort here. Look at the ball. Tremendous effort. Look how he gets up on the high shoulder and never gives up on the ball. Get his hands underneath the football and make the catch.
42 yards. Shirted last year, but has flashed this season, in the words of his head coach, Brett Bielema. They will go to the right side, and it's Colin Dixon into the end zone for a touchdown. Back-to-back deep shots to redshirt freshman. And Donovan Leary has his first touchdown of the afternoon.
And that was against what we think will be the first team he's always been so good at, right? Tom Brady's not the most mobile guy. Watch him step up, get ahead of the pass rush. That's easier when you know you're not going to get hit. And then throws a bucket ball right there to Colin Dixon, lets him run underneath it.
So not only seeing the depth at quarterback, but also at wide receiver, which is a position group to keep an eye on in the ensuing kickoff. No live kicks or punt returns today, but you do see a couple of guys back. It's Kenari Wilcher, who may just be one of the keys. That's the only Jay Lehman autograph you'll find in Champaign. No, I'm just kidding.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Let's talk about Josh McCray here on this play. We've seen a couple pictures of me on the walls. I would say,
Family man and a local real estate agent. If you need to buy a house, he's your guy.
I mean, free advertising, love it.
Malik Elzy.
Thinking a little bit too much last year, and he's playing now like he's not thinking at all. He's just playing on instinct as Ashton Hollins gets a grab on the sideline.
That's a long throw from Leary, and Hollins continues to fight, still short of the sticks. So that brings
first full recruiting classes here as he got on these guys as juniors and seniors in high school.
Quick handoff to McCray, and he bowls ahead for a first down. We've seen a lot of Aiden Lawfrey, now getting to see some more jobs.
Before the line of scrimmage, he's not nearly as effective.
Leary airs it out again, and broken up in coverage. Elijah McCantos was there, and a late flag comes in.
Yep.
Kenari Wilcher, the intended receiver.
Yeah, execute offensively. Offense is about execution. Defense is about effort and being physical.
Leary again, this time taking a shot to Hollins, and he got turned around incomplete.
So Hollins had the back shoulder fade there. His parents are deaf. They had to hire someone to come in for the home visit that could help them sign language to his parents, right? Ashton Hollins could hear, but his parents could not, and so it's a...
And now Wilcher in motion on 3rd and long. Leary through his progressions to Wilcher. Shakes one tackler, and then the gang comes to get him down inside the 20.
Yeah, you can keep juking all you want.
Field goal attempt here for David Olano, and that is into the wind and no good. And it is a stiff wind, folks. We saw David Olano drilling some deep field goals at the end of the first.
But their traditional Big Ten coaches, they would say this is a wind tunnel stadium. One of the windiest stadiums, especially in the fall, seems to rush through that north or south end zone where the stadium's not near.
The wind, now the wind behind the back of Pinton. And this one is returnable, but no defense or return team, rather, out there ahead of Kenari Wilcher.
Have the touch or the catchability of the arm of Luke Altmyer, but certainly has a cannon.
There's Leary on the move, swings it out to Kenari Wilcher, taken out coming draft, but they also lost Casey Washington at the receiver position,
who made some huge catches down the stretch. Huge catch against Toledo, huge catch against Minnesota. Without Casey Washington, you could make an argument they don't win.
Score being kept. We have seen a handful of touchdowns scored today, 2 by Luke Altmyer and 1 by the quarterback in right now, Donovan Leary, who has made a couple of long throws look easy.
Here, he kind of came out the year I came. We were kind of late on him. He's probably a guy we would have recruited, but glad to have a second chance at him.
Leary on the run, got tagged, and they'll blow it dead. To your point on
Isaiah Adams had to move over to last year about midway through the season to help shore up that O-line.
Look at Lawfrey showing the speed. I know it didn't go for a big gain there, but got out of trouble in a hurry.
That's the difference between him and Fagan or McCray. Fagan, McCray.
As Brett Bielema said, it's not just that he's fast on the outside. He'll run through the tackles, as we've seen today. There's a pass that goes off the hands of Elzy, who has made some camp, especially with Caleb Griffin moving on at the kicker position.
Coach Lenny, and I know the defensive guys are using it too, but it's almost like a cheat code, being able to have that direct communication with, kind of our leader and Coach Lenny. Play a lot of times, but he's been great with it. I know it's a learning curve for him too and all the coaches, so it's been a lot of fun and a lot of this next year and win a lot of games for this team.
All right, thank you so much, Luke.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brooke. Thank you, Luke, on a pass incomplete intended again for Malik Elzy at Starkville, Mississippi.
Little different.
Fair catch made by Hank Beatty.
Meyer have been taking the majority of the reps with the ones as Aiden Lawfrey takes the handoff and barrels ahead for a pickup of 6.
Off they have a postseason play and being highly competitive in the Big Ten. They've got to get up into that 30-point range. They've averaged in the mid-20s. You got to score 30 points in this day and age of college football.
While they were 5th in the Big Ten in scoring, 24.5 points per game last year, to your point, defensively, they weren't keeping teams off the board. What a catch! Alexander Kepka-Jones for a touchdown and blows a kiss to the sky.
They told us that he flashed. He's flashed today a little bit, right? I mean, my gosh, that's 2 flashy catches for Kepka-Jones. You can see 40 yards action, 40-yard bomb here. This one from Leary. Really nice deep ball. Deep ball Donovan. He likes to go for it, right? In Jersey, they go for it.
T-shirts here in Champaign. Deep ball Donovan.
Deep ball
what
Donovan.
A throw.
On that high shoulder where only the offensive player can get it.
Expects to compete with David Olano, particularly for place kicker, because that is the biggest position that they've replaced on specials with Caleb Griffin exhausting his eligibility.
It's really great to see Illinois out here honoring a star.
That's great stuff, Brooke. A tragic loss. Vontae Davis, I remember watching him growing up as a kid.
The very first day he stepped on the field, extremely confident, was basically our shutdown corner in that 2007 season. He could lock up anybody, was on the DMV, Dunbar High School, and lots of memories of Vontae. You will be missed.
Prayers with his family as Trey Petty will now run the offense.
Then Luke, and when he's going to have a little bit more ability, you'll see a little bit more zone read action. Like right here, he's got the run-pass option there, and that's something that maybe Altmaier would have thrown, but in this case.
For the true freshman from Starkville. Fake the handoff. Petty almost intercepted by Jaheim Clark. Petty back in the shotgun at quarterback. First down. On a play action. Petty will get rid of it, and it is a complete, no, it is not. It's an
the longer they want you to be, the closer you're to the ball. We're good with the wrestler build, like the Dylan Rosiak build, right? We're good with the Rosiak, Gabe Akis wrestler build. Akis was a state champion wrestler in the state of Florida, right? So you're close.
Right.
And the length of someone determines, one, can they get extension when they're blocking someone, getting off a block? Can you put the appropriate amount of weight on somebody? If you got a 5'10" linebacker, hey, they might be able to get to 220, but just are tiny. And so, Kanari Wilcher, Hank Beatty, Mario Sanders. Speaking of Mario Sanders, he looks like an Isaiah Williams clone out there, number and everything. Well, the way the game has changed as well. There's player personnels and almost like GM, positions for college programs. I mean, because back in the day, the coaches had to go look at tape, find out.
Swanson fumbles the snap, zips it out, and the catch made by Mario Sanders.
That chemistry, how has that transition been for you?
I think it's been great. Day in, day out, we just get to learn each other. I think we're just getting better and better.
From your game
this year.
Did you pay him to say that?
No, I didn't.
But just on this defense as a whole, I know you guys are missing some leaders, Johnny Newton being one of them.
Good enough. I have to be better. And he is hungry going into the 2024 campaign.
He's a guy that they found late and only had to beat out Tulane in the recruiting battle. Comes in as a fresh transfer as well. The outside linebacker room, very, very talented.
Probably the deepest position group on the defense, according to Aaron Henry, and certainly
His outside linebacker is the toughest position to play on this defense because of the run-pass conflict. They ask you to do so much. You've got to play the quarterback and the running back in the zone read game. You've got to be able to rush the passer. You've actually got to be in pass coverage half the time. You got to be a good 40-yard dash entertainment during the breaks.
4th and 6 for Cal Swanson. Pressure up the middle, trying to dance out of the way. Swanson with his legs, and he will pick up the first down. Cal Swanson inside the 15 and nudged out of bounds. And that's the first time we've seen a quarterback for the spring showcase for Michigan State football. That is right after this game, right here on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports.
And transfer portal guys in J.C. Davis. I think the biggest question I have is, can the defensive line in the interior, not the outside linebackers, hold up against some of the massive offensive line and run games we're going to be seeing?
Interception in the end zone, flag on the play. Cal Swanson was trying to zip it into Mario Sanders, and now Jacob Huber saying there's a safety there, scored by the offense.
Hey,
Don't see that very often.
He was a little excited about the pick, I think, right? So,
Number 66, penalties decline. 1st and 10 for the defense.
okay.
Intercepted
So
by number 12, Elijah
he got a
McCann.
pick. He comes out of the end zone and establishes himself, right? So he's out of the end zone right now. So does he run backwards himself? It does look like he runs backwards. I think that's a safety.
No video review here
No
for
video
the 2024 spring game. That was Elijah McCann.
Were Purdue, Ryan Walters, and Illinois. It's almost like they got figured out a little bit.
Sure.
And some of that talent was gone, no question. But I think they got to find out, what is their identity, right? Are we going to be a heavy pressure team when we bring 5, 6
Plays by Aiden Lawfrey today.
right? And ultimately, if you can't run the football, you'll be exposed later on in the year. There's going to be a time you have to run out the game. You have to get a first football over the yard.
Trey Petty from the 15 avoids a sack and just misses his intended receiver, Mario Sanders, which is the other room we've talked a lot about this afternoon. And it bears mentioning again, Isaiah Williams gone, Casey Washington.
Kanari Wilcher and Hank Beatty, there's opportunity that abounds. And they're going to have to be able to throw the football to win football games.
Petty over the middle, and that's a touchdown. The true freshman has his first touchdown in an Illinois uniform to Bartolotta. And that might end the spring game just the way Barry Lunney wanted to see it done.
Throwing the football, right? That's what he loves. You can see Trey Petty look off and then comes back to his second option here. That's mature football right there, not staring down his guy. Bartolotta able to finish this spring season in style.
We will step aside at the conclusion of this one and bring you back to Champaign to wrap up the 2024 spring contest.